Welcome to the Angelscapes podcast, where you're encouraged to uncover and develop a direct connection with your soul's power, wisdom, and spiritual intuition that is ready to blossom. We'll explore new ideas, compelling tips, and real steps to help you learn simple spiritual practices. We're a safe place to learn more about accessing your soul's power with education and spiritual wholeness that could bring more clarity to your life. Now here's your host, a practicing medium, Akashic Records practitioner, spirit artist, coach, and mentor, Dr. Reverend Nancy Smith.
So what does transformation, consciousness, and ascension have to do with you? Can you really upgrade your life to be a vibrant and extraordinary life? Hello, this is Angelscapes, and I'm your host, Nancy Smith. And joining me in this session is the husband and wife power team of Kaleo and Sallas and Meika Cooper, founders of the Enlightened Entrepreneur Experience, short E3 for short, which aids people to live vibrantly connected lives with their higher selves and find their life's purpose. Meika has over 20 years of study in spirituality, healing, and human transformation. She also holds an MA in spiritual psychology and education, which I think is amazing. Leo Sallas is a transformational integration coach, healer, energy healer, artist, spiritual teacher. He's a graduate of UCLA, has a successful career in the music and art worlds before entering into his coaching work. And he's worked with life advancement and optimization and human transformation. And thousands of people are walking around being jazzed up by these guys. So I had to have him on the podcast. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Nancy.
you for having
Appreciate
us.
it. Yeah, thanks for having us.
You're so welcome. So how did you, just a little backstory, how did you start with this? Or did you meet each other and say, we have to do this amazing thing? Or what's a little of your story?
Yeah. So you want me to start?
Sure.
Okay. So how this whole thing started, Kaleo and I had both been in transformational work for as long as I can remember. Like I've always been into the spiritual side of things. And so is he. And so we've done a lot of work on ourselves, but we got to a point, or I'll speak for myself. I got to a point several years ago where I felt like I was kind of off purpose. Like I had kind of fizzled out in what I was doing. I was an educator, and it really got to the point where I was pretty miserable. I was very miserable. And Kaleo said, do you think you're going to be able to continue on in this career? Because you just don't seem happy anymore. And I wasn't. I was drinking too much. I was like trying to numb out, because everything in my life seemed like I should be happy. I had a beautiful husband. I had these two beautiful children. I had, a good job, but I wasn't. There was just something in me that was just, there was like this calling, and I didn't quite know how to catch it, how to touch it, how to bring it to me. And so I was just doing things that were out of alignment for myself. And so I came home one evening after work, and Kaleo had booked me into an ayahuasca retreat. And he's like, you got to do something here. And so I went, and it completely shifted the trajectory of where I was headed. Really what it did for me was really affirm what I intuitively already knew, that I was a spiritual medium, that I was here to assist others in this consciousness shift. And I was pretty much given like a blueprint for what I was supposed to do. And at a certain point, we went back together, and we got the blueprint for what we're doing now. And we were told both and we were in the same Maloka on the same night, but if you're a husband and wife, they separate you. So we were separated. And when we came back to our room, he said, Meika, tell me what you got. And I said, well, I was told what we were supposed to do together. And he's like, no way, I got the same thing. And he's like, go ahead, go first. And I said, I was told that we were supposed to come together and take all of our experience, everything that we have learned, in the past, bring all of that together and create a program for people who are going through this awakening experience, and to really help them to integrate their plant medicine experiences, and people who are going through these, transformative times in their life, to really help them to find their path, to find their purpose, and to help in this consciousness shift. And we listened to the call. Like, people thought we were crazy. We both quit our jobs, and started this program. You want to add anything else to that, Kaleo?
Well, yeah, I was just going to go to the romantic part of it, just jumping back a little bit, that we've been actually together for 25 years. We're an actual married couple together for 25 years. And yes, we met each other when we were 5. At least that's what the filter says. And we've had this incredible journey together. And as Meika said, we've been into the space of personal development, learned from masters Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, Michael Beckwith, Napoleon Hill. We've studied all of these different people, Marianne Williamson, Abraham Hicks, you name it. We've gone down that rabbit hole because these are the things that really spoke to us. And we've been studying that for, as Meika said, really 25 years in a deep way, but really our whole lives. And when we studied all of these things, it was just for our own personal development, because we were called to have a deeper understanding of why we were here. What is this all about? And one of the real pivotal moments for me was that I had had success in something that I was really passionate about, which was my music career. And I went and I got signed to a major label, Mercury Universal Records. I went over to Europe. I released my albums. I thought I was on top of the world. I thought everything was going exactly as I had planned. And then things went off the rail and things didn't go the way that we had planned. And I just went into a deep, dark, depressed place, because my dreams, what I had been shattered. Right. And so at that point, because I was so upset, I just felt like I was like vengeful against God almost.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I said, you know what, at this point, I just want to make money. I don't care about passions. I just want to make money. So I found somebody who said, hey, I'm making a lot of money doing this thing in the corporate world. So I jumped into the corporate world. I'm not a corporate guy, as you could tell. I'm like I was a total fish out of water in this place, being in this cubicle, being a broker in the corporate world. And it was just kind of like what you would see in a movie, that you at Wall Street or Glengarry Glen Ross. It's kind of like that kind of environment where it's kind of cutthroat. And I was being called to do something in that environment that wasn't in alignment. And I found myself making tons of money. I was making more money than I had ever seen in my life, but I had deep pockets, but an empty soul. That's what I was experiencing, because I was just left with all this stress. I was left with all this anxiety. It was this dog eat dog kind of world, this just blood in the water. You're a shark just looking for the profit. And it was so out of alignment that I told Meika, I said, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of this corporate grind, because I'm checking all the boxes. I have a beautiful wife. We have kids on the way. I'm making all the money, but I just was totally unfulfilled. And that's just scratching the surface. I was just really depressed and anxious all the time. So I left that position. There's a whole story that goes along with what occurred there. But really, at the end of the day, I dove into my passion at the time, which was going into the art world, which you touched on a little bit. And this is going from someone who was in the broker space to going into the art world. Everybody, as Meika said, thought that we were crazy because we had a child on the way. You're making all of this money, and then you're going to go to be an artist. Are you nuts, with a kid on the way? But sometimes in our lives, we either answer the call or you continue doing the same old thing. And as they say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and looking for different results or expecting different results. And I know that this is speaking to somebody out there who was on that precipice, who was in that space, who's saying, man, can I leave this old thing that I thought that I was supposed to do? Can I leave this old life, this old paradigm, this old belief structure? And it may be in your career, it may be around your health, it may be around your relationships, around your purpose. Why are you here? And for somebody out there listening, and you're scared, you're tethered to the cliff face, and you know that you have these wings to fly and soar, but you're scared. Trust us that you're always going to be caught. If you're called by spirit to do this, that you have to take the action, that this is your opportunity right now to start to take action steps towards letting your wings open up and to fly, and to really start to live into your purpose while you're here. And for me, what I found is that I was struck by the level of release and freedom that I felt by leaving that old grind, by leaving that old paradigm and belief structure that I thought that I had to do, and going into something that was more in alignment with who I am, my ascension code, as we talked about, our coding that we have. And we all have a coding within us that is saying this is the,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to hear more about this ascension coding.
So we all have a coding within us that is in alignment with our grandest, greatest version of ourselves. And when we do things that are outside of that alignment with that coding, based on programming from our social structures, based on our programming from our parents, based on our programming from gender roles, based on our programming from really everyone on the planet has some type of coding that they have, or programming that they've been involved with. And so we really have to take a deep dive to see, am I living my life in alignment with what my ascension codes are, what I am authentically here to be, do, and have? Or am I living somebody else's story? Am I living somebody else's dream? And for me, when I realized that I was living somebody else's dream, that was totally in a space of depression and anxiety, I had to leave that. Now, I want to be clear. I was in that corporate space and I was making money, and there's nothing wrong with making money. We love to make money. We think of money as just an energy. But if you're making money in something that you're not in alignment with, it is always going to leave you flat. And I know somebody out there is hearing the same thing that I'm telling you right now, and it resonates with you. I know it. I felt it. I experienced it. And until you break free, and as George Mumford says, in order to have a breakthrough, you need to have a break with. And for many people, it's scary to have that break with, because you have a collapse with your identity. You have that old way of being, thinking that is you, and that is safety, and that's what you're supposed to do. But there's an inner calling, something within you that is saying, that I know that I am here for a higher purpose. I know that I am here to do something more. I know that there's a beingness that is seeking to be expressed, freedom. I know that I'm to experience more freedom in my life. And so you have to have that break with. There's going to be fear involved with it, but there's also going to be a lot of excitement. And so when you say, hey, well, I'm going to make that break and go forward, that's where Meika and I come in. And what we do with the Enlightened Entrepreneurs Experience, and what we've done with you, Nancy, and many of our other clients, and really family, our tribe, our people, who we have this container where we say, what is it that you're looking to manifest? What is it that you're looking to create? What are the things that are keeping you stuck? What are those old beliefs? What are the old traumas, the old pains, ancestral emotional DNA that you're dealing with, past life energetic signatures, or again, as many people can relate to, early childhood pain or trauma? What are those things? And through quantum energy healing, we break that old connection to those old ways of being. And we have the opportunity to then spread our wings, fly into this new level of purpose, and fly into freedom like we never experienced before. And that is the path. And so we help people with that roadmap. We help people with that blueprint, and lovingly, and with a level of connection, compassion, empathy. We walk people through that process. We guide them through, and with the help of plant medicine, sometimes going on these incredible journeys to Peru or Costa Rica, or having these plant medicine journeys with ayahuasca or wachuma, psilocybin, these incredible things that are really changing the world. We're able to use those things, have these huge, incredible breakthroughs, and then help them to integrate that into their lives and experience reality in a whole new level. So that's been my experience, my path. And now that's our purpose now, working together as a team. We never worked together. We loved one another, but we had never worked together. And when we had that calling that Mama Ayahuasca literally said, this is what you were to do, then we answered the call instead of just putting it on the back burner and saying, no, I'll do that later, or I'm too scared. Everybody out here has a calling. So we're encouraging everybody and we're giving you permission. It's time to answer that call. It's time to take that leap. And yes, it's going to be scary. And like we always say, there's going to be, if you're looking for something that's going to really be the breakthrough, the quantum leap in your life, it's going to have to meet 3 criteria. It's going to excite you. Something that's going to excite you. It's going to stretch you. It's not going to be the same old thing. And it's going to scare you a little bit. If it doesn't scare you a little bit, it's not the thing. It's not the quantum leap. It's not that huge breakthrough that you're looking for. That fear is on the other side of that excitement. And that's where you know you're going to have your breakthrough. So working together with Meika and doing this work has been the most fulfilling thing that we've ever done in our lives. And we love to help people to have those breakthroughs, experience them, reality at a whole new level, and to really make that ripple effect to change the world, change it one person at a time.
Yeah. It's been so fun too. It's so fun because like in working together, we've discovered not only our individual gifts, but how we work together, which has just been, it just feels like divine intervention when we're working with people. It just sort of organically, this ability to go in, like what we really love to do is to help people to get that recoding on a cellular level, like a cellular recoding. Because so many people, I just got the chills when they said that. So many people that we talked to a lot of people, and we found that people are walking around. So many people have had similar experiences where they're like, okay, I've checked all the boxes in life. I have like this material success, but why are my relationships not working? Why is my health out of alignment? Just why am I just burnt out, exhausted? There's so many autoimmune things going on, which I went through myself. And what we found is that sometimes it's what you don't know that you don't know. It's so deep. It's so locked in on the cellular level that you have to go in and find it. And that's Kaleo and I like discovered with working together that we can really, like, I use my mediumship. He uses his light language ability and channeling abilities to really go in and find the root of where did the trauma start? Was it early childhood? Is it an ancestral emotional DNA pattern that you've inherited from your ancestors? Sometimes it's a past life energetic signature. So we're going into the root of the trauma, the upset, the old paradigm, the old belief, and really healing it and recoding it. And then life just shows up differently. Life shows up and in alignment with who you really are. And people find so much freedom in that. And we've done it for ourselves as well, which is like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And we're entering these realms that are non-ordinary states of awareness, right? When we're talking about quantum energetics, this is something that is not generally what you'll see in any textbooks. This is a spiritual tech, if you will. It's taking all of these wonderful things that we've learned over the past 25 years. Some of them are traditional psychology, but as you mentioned, Meika has her master's in spiritual psychology. So it goes into different realms and as accessing different points of our operating system. So we talk about SOS, our spiritual operating system. Everyone has a spiritual operating system, your SOS. And what we're doing is just like we have on our phone, we have a lot of apps on there that don't work well. And they are just taking up our memory. They're taking up our space. So what we do is that we go in there and we upgrade the operating system. So the spiritual operating system that people are functioning with right now, it's slow, it's clunky, it's antiquated, it doesn't work well. And when we're getting the pings and dings and notifications, it's bringing up old pains, old traumas, old ways of being. And every time we get that ping, it takes us back to something in the past that didn't work for us and is not working up for us now, and is reintroducing it every time we think about it, bringing that awareness and that energy to our current state. So what we do is that we optimize and upgrade the operating system, your spiritual operating system through quantum energetics. And so this is a whole new way of looking at personal development, spiritual development, professional development. Because once you start to work in that realm, then the ripple effect will affect every other aspect of your life. Like Meika said, your relationships, your health and wellness, your career, your purpose, and at the end of the day, experiencing more freedom than you've ever had. Because at the end of the day, this is what we're looking for. If you want a lot of money, if you're looking for this incredible romantic relationship, or this beautiful career that you've been looking for, you're doing that because there's a level of fulfillment that you're looking to experience. And it's usually around the feeling of love, compassion, empathy, fulfillment, and freedom. We all want to experience more freedom. And so when we're able to not just check the boxes, but get in alignment, again, with those ascension codes that we go through, is coding, recoding, reprogramming to get us into alignment with that spiritual operating system that is what's seeking to be birthed. And when we do that, the fulfillment is there, the freedom is there, the vibrancy is there, the energy is there. And that lights us up more than anything else. And before we knew that this was even a thing, we were practicing it, but unconsciously, right? Things were coming up and we didn't know why things were happening. We were pretty powerful manifestors. But once we started to get into this and understand this and practice it experientially, then everything changed. And we do this work daily. We're in there working on one another daily, because there's always going to be something that comes up. And as the Zen saying goes, on the way to enlightenment, you chop wood and carry water. And once you reach enlightenment, you chop wood and carry water. So there is no finish line here. There's no finish line for our lives. We're going to continue to do this work. And even when we hit a lot of people, they have the misconception that, man, if I could just have this one ceremony, I could just have this one therapy session, and everything will be changed, and I'll never have another pain, or it doesn't work like that. Don't expect it to work like that. It's not supposed to work like that. Nature shows us that there's always going to be ebbs and flows. Nature shows us that winter follows autumn, and after that we go into spring, summer. This is the way that things move. This is the natural course of things. And so our lives reflect that. Our lives reflect God's beautiful design. And so when we're going through the pathway, we go through, we heal these things, we upgrade. We take ourselves and create a new baseline. And that becomes our new thermostat level. As Gay Hendricks said in The Big Leap, we create new thermostat levels every time we do that healing work, and we don't go back down to that old way of being. We create a new thermostat level that has its own set of things that we're looking to heal and things that we're looking to transform. And that's the beautiful journey that we're on. As they say, and I know it's a cliche, but it's a true one. It's not the destination, it's the journey. This is what we're all looking to experience. So how can we do that with more peace, more grace, more power, more empowerment, more love, more light, and again, more fulfillment and freedom?
So I'm astounded. I want to hear more. I was like, well, tell me more about this. But I want to take a quick little break to say how people can reach out to you, because you're saying some pretty interesting stuff. And I'm sure that people will want to reach out to you to learn more. So you are on Facebook. Best way to reach you is Meika.Cooper, MEIKA.Cooper, and Kaleo Sallas, both on Facebook. And then Lightworker World is the other.
Lightworker Land.
Lightworker Land.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Land is another Facebook. And then make friends with them, message them, ask them lots and lots of questions, because some of this stuff, is new. I mean, some people who listen here are new to the idea of the Ascension code and the DNA recoding. I'm like, I want to know more, and where do I do it? And how do I do it? And get me on. And then also the healing. It sounds like the spiritual work and the healing work are really deeply connected with this recoding and this leveling up. So it's almost like you can't do one without the other.
Right.
So talk to me a little bit more about that. Yeah, I know you're talking about shamanic energies. You're talking about plant medicine, and I've done plant medicine myself, and it was holy cow. And but I would like to know more about, like, tell us a little bit more about where would you start with somebody and how would you move them through this process?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to take that one, Kaleo?
I mean, I could talk all day long about these kind of things, but I'm gonna let you have a little bit and then I'll definitely carry on because
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we want to make sure that everything is covered. And when we're working as a team, this is the beautiful thing about what we do together, is because there's a real masculine and feminine energy. And both of us, as we know, we all have masculine and feminine within us, right? But when we can, as a team, come together and give those types of perspectives, and we're always going to be holding people in the nest of personal development, love, light, aloha, this freedom and fulfillment, which is our goal. We go through this process of which Meika will share how we walk people through the process, but how we reflect is always going to be from a balanced perspective. And that's one of the real unique things that we do with our program, and what we do with E3 Enlightened Entrepreneurs Experience, is that balance mixed with that power. And again, it's always going to be with the guide, with the end result in mind, outcome of freedom and fulfillment, being able to experience that in a whole new way. So
Yeah.
let Meika share that with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of different levels to this. And so I'll kind of, and it would take up probably a lot of time to walk you through each little step of the way, but I'll kind of give you just sort of a layman's kind of overview of how it would work. So if someone were to come to us, or this is what we do with the people, our clients, we're really gonna first start off with soul mapping. We're tapping into shamanic energetics. We're tapping into mediumship. I see past lives. We can access the ancestral emotional DNA that is within, that's creating any imbalances. So what we're doing first is Kaleo and I are soul reading. We're like, okay, who are you? Let's get the blueprint. And I feel like that's one of our real strengths, is seeing who people are and really understanding them at a soul level. And then we're going to go into energetics. We're going to go into the energetic rewiring. Okay. So we're going in through, we use quantum energy healing. We have different processes. We have soul retrieval. There's lots of different processes that we use to really rewire and recode and really get people in alignment with their greatest version of self. It's that higher alignment, that soul alignment. And then we use plant medicine, and not everybody, we have different ways. Not everybody is doing that, but we have found, and I will speak for myself, that anything that is like buried underneath the surface, the plant medicine is going to really shine light on. And so we take people on these incredible journeys. We have access to, and I say this from like the depth of my heart, the most amazing healers, shamans on the planet. These people that we have somehow just been aligned with. It's just divine intervention as far as I'm concerned. Just the most amazing healers. Like, and I say that because I know I've experienced the level of healing for myself. Like, there were things that I couldn't see for myself. You know, I've done tons of quantum energy healing, and there were still little threads. There was a little piece that the plant medicine and this particular shaman that we work with, just, it revealed what was really underneath the surface that really had to be healed. And once that was shown to me, everything changed. My health changed, my life changed. And so that's what we help people to do too. So we work with them individually first, and then we go and have these incredible plant medicine experiences and introduce our clients to these amazing healers in Peru. And then we come back, and then we help them to integrate all of those experiences, because it is life changing. Like, it's very hard to put into words what
Yeah.
happens inside of these ceremonies. But the transformation that I have seen, it's like people come in one way and they come out like
Yeah.
these just shiny versions of themselves. And it's truly amazing. So that's kind of the journey. Anything else that's to add to that?
Yeah,
There's a
but
lot
just-
more layers to how we do it. But
Yeah, there's many different things that we could touch on, but really we take a soul synergy approach, and it's really a bespoke journey, right? So there's people come in with all sorts of things that they've experienced. Some people would say that you come in with all your baggage, and we all do, right? We all have things that happen in our early childhood, ancestral emotional DNA, which Gabor Mate talks a lot about, where something has happened to your ancestors, some that you may not have even experienced before, have even met, but those same things that they experienced, you will be triggered by in your reality in this time, because not only is our eye color and our hair color that we take from our ancestors, but there's also emotional DNA that is also taken along with them. So Gabor Mate has spoken about this and written extensively about it. One story was about somebody from Nazi Germany, somebody from the internment camps there. And these people who had experienced this certain kind of food while they were in there, and all of the pain and trauma that came along with that, their grandkids who they had never met, he gave them that same food, and they became nauseous just by the look of this. So there's something that is occurring, as they say, quantum entanglement as well, that is occurring across beyond timelines that we are experiencing that will have an effect on our physical body, our emotional body, our mental body, our spiritual body, that is affecting our way that we process reality here right now. So all of us bring that to the table when people come in and want to work with us. And we always let people know that this is a bespoke experience. Yes, we have a system that we work with, but when people come in, we're going to work with your individual experiences. We're going to ask the questions that maybe people have never asked before. And we are going to create a container, an environment that is completely nurturing, completely aligned with your healing, completely non-judgmental, completely accepting, where you feel loved when you come into this container and you're able to share like you've never shared before. You're able to be free like you've never been before. You're able to be heard and seen like you've never been before. That is one of our greatest strengths, is to open up this space to bring people in for you to be able to express yourself and give yourself the freedom that you've never had. So when we talk about the soul synergy approach or working with us in E3, yes, there's a complete system that we break down for each individual, but knowing that each individual is unique, just like your fingerprint, because no one's story is the same. So we listen from that pure place of potential and possibility, and we open up a new realm of love, of light, of empowerment, of freedom, of fulfillment. And when we do that, people are able to then open themselves up energetically. And again, you're going to have stories that you come in with. We all do. We're going to bring that baggage in with us. And just like everybody, we bring that that garbage, and then we dump that garbage in down here on the floor. We want that. We need to see it. We don't shy away from the darkness. We encourage people to share the darkness as a way of healing it. And this is one of the things that ayahuasca and plant medicine has showed us, and our great our mentors and these masters that we worked with. You don't shy away from the darkness, you go towards it. And this is something that was a revelation to me in my healing journey, because this is something that wasn't really taught to me so much in the majority of the modalities that we practice. You'd hear of spiritual bypassing. Everything's good while the building's burning around down
Right.
around you, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm everything, nothing's wrong here. And what we found with a lot of our clients is that, yes, you will have some things that you remember from your childhood that you say, oh, that happened. So I know because of that happened, I feel disempowered. I feel scared. I feel frightened to be able to express myself. I feel anxiety around this. I feel depressed around this because of something that happened. But so many of our clients, as Meika said, are the places that we don't know that we don't know. It's the things that once we go into our quantum energy healing, they are revealed, they are transmuted, they are diffused, they are deleted, and we have a brand new baseline from where we're creating. And so that's the bespoke, that's the personalized experience that everyone has to have if we're looking to make a huge breakthrough. And so, okay.
Well, I just want to share on that,
Yeah.
like what had happened to me as far as like, you don't know that you don't know. So I was having this autoimmune stuff happening, and I got to a place where I had thought that I was better. I was healed. Because I had done a lot of work on myself. And then right before we were getting ready to go to Peru, I all of a sudden could hardly walk again. And I was like, oh my gosh, Kaleo, what am I going to do? We get to Peru. I can barely walk. Thank God we had our ceremony the second day that we were there. So I went into ceremony, and the shaman said to me, if you have a secret that is buried. And if you do not recognize it, you will stay sick. And I'm like, I have done so much work. This is what I do. I'm like, I feel like I've like tried to uncover every little stone that's in there. Like, what could it be? And he said, the plants will help you to discover it. And sure enough, without going into a story, it was repressed anger of a very traumatic memory that I had thought that I had worked completely through. But there was one little piece, which was anger that I was holding for a specific family member that I just did not want to admit because I love them so much. And so once I recognized that, it was like, purging started and everything that can go along with the ceremony. And I really released that anger that was underneath that. I went on a 10-mile hike the next day. It was like night and day. It was the physical is very easy to measure. Sometimes the emotional, you don't have as much of an easy measurement, but it was like, I went from not being able to walk to a 10-mile hike. So it was very evident of like finding that thing that's so deep in there. Once it's like brought to the light, and it can be healed, and then life shows up completely differently.
So what is this deep thing that came up, and you didn't know what it was, but it was making you sick, and it came up, and I know ayahuasca, you could do a lot of purging. It is, did you have to go through the whole story, the whole memory?
No, I already knew. I knew the story. I knew the memory. What ayahuasca helped me to do, which is what we do already, is to learn to reprogram that memory. So there was a deeper level. There was anger that I really just had to let out. I really just had to acknowledge that it was in there, because I was shoving it down. I was pushing it down. And I was reading a book, just recently read a book from Gabor Mate talking about this. And he said that the immune system is like a floating brain, and it's looking for self and non-self. And so anything that's like a virus or, anything it's fighting against. But repressed emotion is very confusing for the immune system. And also holding other people's stuff, holding other people's emotions is very confusing, because it's like non-self. And so that repressed emotion was really messing with my immune system. And so once I was able to release that, then everything shifted.
Just observing in sacred space.
In sacred space, yes. And then going in, then there were processes which now we use in our program. There were processes that were given to me as a way of really even more deeply than I had already understood how to do, even more deeply reprogramming that. So now this person that I held anger towards, it's like there's an even deeper coding of love in there now. So the depth of my love for this person increased, and that anger released, and my body changed. My physicality completely was rewired.
Yeah, in my experience, we've had many healing experiences, but one that really stands out for me in this realm of quantum energy healing is one that was showing up for me in my life as a lot of anger, a lot of anger and resentment and feeling of not being respected. And it was bleeding over into my all of my relationships and within my marriage, with my kids, with my friends. And it would show up. It was an insidious type of filament of energy that would just kind of rear its head. And everybody's got this to some degree or another. And it can be very sneaky, right? It'll come up and you'll get triggered. And instead of, through our practice, we've done a great job of being able to minimize that. So what we talked about in our work is time compression. So those things that some of your listeners might be thinking about, something that they've been holding on for years, maybe decades. And through our work, we compress that amount of time in order for us to release those things. So we're not holding on to things for decades or years. We compress it down to months, weeks, days, hours, minutes, and then moments. That's where our mastery comes in, where those things that might be a trigger, we don't stay within that frequency, that energy, that vibration, because that's all it is. It's an emotion that's showing up as an energy within our physical body, and then it has a chemical release that goes along with that because we are reliving it and thinking that we are there. Our brain doesn't know the difference between if it's happening right now, if it's something that happened in the past. But instead of being on that for years, again, months, weeks, days, we compress that down to moments. And through this work, we teach people how to do that, how to be able to recalibrate. And once we get triggered, we use the AAA technique as one of another techniques that we have, is that we become aware that we are in that space. We acknowledge it with grace, gratitude, and then we take an action. And that action might be just to take a breath. That action might be calling somebody up and asking for forgiveness. That work might be forgiving somebody who's even passed away, a parent. So there's so many different ways that we can use this, but and the techniques, but what we do is time compress that so it doesn't show up. So in this specific example, I had been holding on to this disrespect, this anger, this feeling. And through the healing, I realized that it wasn't my anger. It wasn't something that happened to me. It was something that happened to my mom, but as a child, I saw. So this is also something that we want to be very aware of. What's occurring in our lives isn't always something that we experience to us. It may be something that we experience through someone else, through their energy signature, empathically, that we have then taken on as our own. And so for my mom, it was when she got very, she was, for her life, she got hurt, and in her world. And she saw, for her, it showed up as disrespect, and it showed up as things not being controlled. And she was very, very much in a place of pain. And this trauma showed up in her life. Something switched in her brain, and she became a compulsive hoarder. And she started to have this obsessive compulsive show up in her life in a more profound way, or a greater way. And I was around 7 years old at this time. And we were living in what you would consider a typical kind of American family. My father wasn't in the home, and that was the part that contributed to a lot of this pain. She had lost her brother in a car accident. She had lost her mother, and something happened with my father where there was an unspoken agreement that was broken. Okay, we'll just share it in that way. Those things culminated in her becoming this compulsive hoarder. And from that moment on, our house was filled with what most people would just regard as trash. There was just pathways through our home. And I was living within her. It was almost as I was living within her trauma in a physical way. It was in her mind, but I was living through this. This is how chaotic it was within the home. And this is how we grew up. And there was a time when we got our heat turned off, and in order to put it back on, we would have to have somebody from the gas company come in and turn on our heat back on. But because our house was filled with all of this garbage, my mom said we couldn't do it, or else we would be taken away. We were under the fear that we would be kidnapped. And so for the next 12 years, we had no heat in our home. We weren't able to have no hot showers, no hot baths, not even being able to turn on the stove in order to cook a meal. So this is what we were living with. But that pain was something that I was taking on. That pain and that trauma from my mom is something that I was taking on. But through this healing exercise, I saw that pain was not mine, that was my mom's pain. But as a little boy, I felt that I was honoring her. And it showed up in my life that I was honoring her by holding on to that pain. And I went through this beautiful experience where I was to take this little boy away from my mom, to say, it's okay, you don't have to be there. I took that little boy who was me away from my mom, and I was screaming, crying. I didn't want to leave because that was my mom, and I felt like she needed me. She needed my safety. So I put that little boy back, and I asked what is needed. What does my mom want? What is it that she actually desires? And we went through this beautiful cathartic process where she was sharing with me that it's okay, that I can leave that I can, in one way or another, leave not her, but leave that energy behind. And so that energy, I was able to then, but when I got her blessing, I was able to walk with that boy instead of taking him away, walk with that boy away from that pain, bury that in the front yard of that house that was full of compulsive hoarders, disorder that we were living under, bury that old way of being. And since that moment, life has showed up differently for me. I'm not triggered by that same pain. I'm not triggered by that idea of trauma. I'm not triggered by that feeling of disrespect. Now, again, through time compression, does something maybe pop up here and there? Yeah, there's little things that may pop up, but it doesn't pop up the same way. It doesn't have that grip. It doesn't have something that's disabling me in my day now. And since that moment, everything has shifted. And my relationship with my mom, who is now passed, has even become more powerful. When I think about her, it's a gift that she gave me. And through the work of healing, through that work of quantum energy healing, I was able to reclaim my life. And that's what we talk about in this work, is that it's a healing and transformation at a whole nother level. It's non-ordinary healing. It's not talk therapy where you're going in there for 20 years. We're talking about 20 years of therapy in one session, either through plant medicine or through quantum energetic healing that we do. And you get to reclaim your life, reclaim your power, have yourself being able to get your life back. And that is priceless. That is just an absolutely priceless experience. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So many people have that sense they don't, you don't know what you don't know feeling, but you just know something is missing, or you're trapped in a system of living that you don't even know that you could choose differently. And I've seen so many people make those choices over and over again, and it's painful to watch. And,
yes.
So painful to watch. And I wanted to ask you this question, popped into my head. I was doing deep healing. In what you're talking about sounds a little bit like the inner child work I've done. I went all the way back to pre-verbal, and so I can't remember and I can't articulate it, but I feel the impact and the terror and the trauma of it. I have no idea what it is. So it was really interesting. And and I still feel that sometimes when certain things happen, I can feel that freeze. It's like, oh my God. And so you can touch that with your healing work.
Yes.
Without question.
Absolutely.
Without question. And you don't have to consciously even understand what's happening.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a conscious story that goes along with it. Yes, you may, but you don't have to.
It's the energy. Yeah.
Yes, it's all energy.
Feeling, exactly.
So when we're talking about this, everything, as Bob Proctor would say, everything in science and theology agree. They don't agree on many things, but this is without question, is that everything is energy. Everything that we are experiencing, from a thought to this microphone, to this computer, to the clouds to our breath. Everything is energy. So when we're able to have a perspective of the world through that lens, we don't have to necessarily have a story that goes along with it. You say,
Okay.
am experiencing this. I don't know why. And many of the people who we've walked through these quantum energy healing practices, sometimes they're having past life energetic signatures, past life energetic visions that they don't know, they never experienced, but they know that by healing that, we walk them through and they heal that experience of that past life, that then energetically that ripples out to them, their experience of reality in this life being transformed in a profound way. This is the level of magic that's really experienced. It's a miraculous thing that's happening in the world. And as Meika and I always say, we're not the only ones who are practicing this. This is our passion. This is what we do. We do it well. But there's a miraculous nature to the world, to healing that is occurring right now with the collective's consciousness shift that is occurring. So when you dive into that and you say, wow, there's a collective consciousness shift occurring. There's a collective energy. There's a miraculous that is becoming the ordinary. How do we tap into those things that used to be the old blockages, remove them in order for us to have an experience of life that is being transformed? And that's the promise of when we work with people in E3 Enlightened Entrepreneurs Experience, and just being able to have these healing sessions or going on these plant medicine experiences, to be able to touch that, experience that, and have it be something that is with you for the rest of your life. This is will work. Yeah.
I mean, this is so many times I'm like, I don't want to talk about this story anymore. And I don't know why it's showing up again, but I don't ever want to, go there again. And this transformational work really, truly is that.
Yeah. And it's a choice, right? Joy is a choice. Happiness is a choice. The fear is a choice. And we reclaim our power. We are literally reclaiming our power to be able to have that new experience of life. But that choice of being in those states is also the choice of saying, do I want to reach out for the healing? Am I going to reach out to Meika? Am I going to reach out to Kaleo? Am I going to be a part of E3? Am I going to make the choice because I'm worth it? And so many times people they're coming to grips with, am I worth this thing? And what is it? What's the value of people being able to be free? It's, to us, it's been priceless in our lives. I mean, we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on our own personal development. That's how important it is to us, because we've gotten the best coaches, the best healers. We've went on these incredible
names
experiences.
You're saying are phenomenal. Yeah.
Sorry?
The names that you've been mentioning are phenomenal. I'm like,
yeah. And that's how important it is to us, because we've come in alignment with our own worth. And so that's what we ask people. What is your own worth? What do you feel? Are you at this point in your time, if you're listening right now and you're being called, this is the opportunity to be able to shift everything, to be able to walk into a new realm of possibility, to be able to experience that freedom and fulfillment like you've never experienced before. And we work with many different people, but a lot of what we're really gearing up for is working with enlightened entrepreneurs, or people who are looking to step into that realm of a new level of spiritual, professional, and personal development and transformation. Conscious entrepreneurs, people along those lines, mavericks. People who are saying, hey, I've checked all the boxes, but yet I still don't feel fulfilled. Those are the people that we're looking for, because they have a certain level of influence. They have a certain level of energy that they've already created. And the ripple effect of us being able to help them to heal is great, is amazing. And for us, the byproduct is really having a transformed world. That's what we're living for. That's what we are. That's what we've given our lives over to. Is this our passion and our purpose? Is to live in a transformed world and help as many people heal as possible. So that's this journey that we're on, and we're just honored, grateful that God and Spirit has put this on our heart to do this.
I know, it's great. I want to ask you a question about the name entrepreneur. So you're attracting people to you, either people in business or having their own businesses, or is that what you're
entrepreneurial spirits, the entrepreneurial spirit? You could be in anything. You could be in corporate, you could be in education. it's that entrepreneurial spirit that we like to work with. It's
create something of your own and move forward.
Yes.
creating, yes,
Yes.
creating. Like, I feel like this is a time we talk about light workers a lot. And I feel like this is a time where there are so many of us who have chosen to come down to this planet at this time to really create this new realm, this new version of life that we get to live into. And so it's people like that with that entrepreneurial spirit. That's just like, okay, we are change makers. We are people who know that we can create this new reality. And so that's when we say entrepreneur, we really mean the entrepreneurial spirit.
Well, and I also will add to that, whether people like it or not, you are a brand. You yourself are a brand. Now you might say, well, I don't know. I don't want to associate myself with being a brand. Trust me, you are. Your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your great-great-grandparents, they were also a brand. How they dressed, how they spoke, what they did, how they carried themselves, their beliefs. All of these things are part of their own brand. And what people say, oh, I associate myself where I can resonate with that particular brand because of who they were. The ones who you really love, your grandparents who you go, oh my God, I love this person. And the ones that maybe you didn't appreciate as much. They all have their own brand, just like something that you would see, just like a Rolls Royce has its own brand or a Vogue has its own brand. There's something that goes along with it. And we believe it or not, we all carry that. So we want to just get related to, it doesn't have to be something that we're going out on social media and saying, oh, this is my brand and look at how my brand looks. You're a brand already. And you are also a creator. How you step into space, how you walk into the world, how you speak, how you text, how you communicate. These are all part of your brand, and it's part of you being a creator. And that's another thing that we really want people to get associated with, is that you are a creator. Some people say, oh, I'm not a creator. Absolutely, 100%. The way you get up out of bed, the way you brush your teeth, the way that you put on your clothes, the way that you cook your food, the way that you eat your food. You're creating all the time. You know why? Because you're a reflection of God's grace. You're a reflection of God's beauty. You're a reflection of the miraculous, infinite amount of reflections that God and Spirit Source is putting out into the world. You are a creator. You are that creator. That's how powerful we are. So with that being said, as a creator, you can shift that story anytime you want. You have the opportunity to turn the page and create a new chapter. What is the next chapter going to be in your life? What's it going to look like? What are you going to be doing? And who are you going to be? That is ultimately what we're looking at and what you have the power to really bring into your world and manifest into this reality.
Exciting.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't start with E, but pioneer. I want to put that right in there.
Yes, exactly.
Pioneering your new generation. And they talk about it, Americans, when you heal 7 generations behind you and 7 generations ahead of you. So rebranding is, I think, a really kind of a cool way of saying that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
Exactly. I love that. Rebranding, pioneer. Absolutely. We're going to be using that in our copy. Trust me. I love it.
It's exciting stuff. It's scary stuff. I could see somebody saying, and I want a consideration is, am I ready for this? Can I even do this? What do I have to do first before I can do anything like this big? And I have a feeling, what would your answer be? I have a feeling I know what it is, but what would you say to somebody who said, I'm too new at this. I'm too beginner-ish.
I would say that we've lived, if there's even a little spark that feels an excitement or curiosity, that's your soul speaking. And that so many of us have this kind of like imposter syndrome, I feel like. And like, we work with a lot of people, and so many people are like, well, I don't know if I could step into this. This seems too big. And my answer is always like, you've been doing this work for lifetimes. You may not remember, but that's part of what this whole experience is. It's a remembering process. You're remembering your gifts. You're remembering your beauty, you're remembering how powerful you really are. So there's nobody that's at a place where it's like, oh, I can't really do this, or this is too big, because you'll begin to remember your true power.
Yeah, and there's two things, and we'll walk you through a little process for you listening right here, right now. If you do have a pen or a pencil or something that you could write down, we want you to get related to two things. One, and unfortunately, in our human design, we're more apt to make a move when we are bumping up against a pain, something that says, wow, I need to get myself away from this pain. You will be motivated to make a move in your life. So I want people to get related to pain and pleasure. Where you are right now, if you say, wow, is it too late? What do I do? Write down what it is, the pain that you are experiencing right now, and get related to, do I want to live with this a second more, anymore in my life? Do I want to experience this pain anymore? And as spiritually minded people, we don't like to dwell in the pain, but we want to get related to that is something that pops up. So for those individuals who are saying, hey, should I do it? Can I do it? Get related to that pain, because you are worth taking the actions towards removing that, dissolving that, and healing that. And on the other side, write down all the pleasure. This is an opportunity for you to dive into a life that you've only envisioned, a life of incredible abundance, incredible health, incredible love, incredible light, incredible freedom, incredible fulfillment. This is on the pleasure side. So if that's what's going to pull you forward, don't be pushed, be pulled. Let that pull you forward to saying, it's time. I'm not going to waste another day, because the other side of it is you're going to look 12 months down the line and say, damn it, I never did that thing. I never did that thing that I knew that I wanted to do. And on the deathbed, there's a story of a person who, and many people have written about this, but in hospice care, of the people who are on their deathbed, they never say they regret the things that they did do. It's only the things that they didn't do, that they are struck by, man, I didn't do that thing. I never made that move. I wish I would have. So we walk people through a process of, it's called I wish I would have, right? And we put ourselves at that realm on your deathbed in a beautiful way, because we all transition. We're not scared of death. We think it's part of the beautiful process of things, just like nature shows us this beautiful design. And so if you're on your deathbed, you're surrounded by people, anybody who you think loves you the most and that you'd love to have around, and you're accepting it. You're in that space of acceptance that it's your time. We want you to look at that and say, is there anything that I would say, man, I've had this incredible life. I love everything I've done, but I wish I would have. What is that I wish I would have for you when you walk through that process? You're on your deathbed, and you would say that right now, if nothing changed, I wish I would have. And then that wish I would have, write that down, because that is going to be your motivation for taking action in your life and not wasting any more time. Your life is too precious. Time is too precious. We don't want to waste any more time. This is an opportunity for someone to grab a hold of their lives and experience something miraculous. That's what we share. That's what we are, the people who we work with, experience. Plant medicine journeys, working with masters. This is the magical realm we live in. This is the magical realm that we reside in. And we offer that and share that with you, that this is an opportunity to take on and experience the miraculous in your life, experience that freedom, fun, fulfillment, fortune in your life like never before. So that's what I would share with people. This is the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that you don't have to have any of this figured out. Sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, this journey, there's probably so much in there. You don't have to have any of it figured out. We take you by the hand and walk you very gently through this process. And the process can actually be fun, like, believe it or not. People sometimes say, oh my God, plant medicine ceremonies, there's these purging process. I have absolutely adored. It doesn't mean it was easy, but I have loved every single one of my experiences, because you come out the other side just like, oh my God. And I didn't have to have anything figured out going into there. Like, we just take you along the path and walk with you. So we're with you the entire way. So there's nothing to feel overwhelmed or to have to figure out at all.
So I was wondering, in the ayahuasca ceremony, they call them the ayahuasqueros or something. Are you the ayahuasqueros that walk or
Yeah,
do?
so for ayahuasca, we don't serve ayahuasca. We lean on some of our masters that we've sat with. For us, we've sat with many people, ayahuasqueros, and many people who have served the medicine. The people we have sat with are the best. We have found and created an environment and found well, really, spirit has aligned it. But through our manifestation of saying that this is what we want, and being around people who not only do they have decades of wisdom working with these medicines, but they have thousands of years of ancestral emotional DNA that's tied in with this. And there is a love and a light that they carry that is beyond what we have been able to that beyond what we've experienced with other ayahuasqueros. And I know that there's many out there. If you're following the path, there's something there. You do want to be very mindful of who you sit with. You really do want to be, because we're entering these realms with these powerful medicines. They're not to be taken lightly. You have to be with somebody who has your best interest at heart. It's not something, and there's many out there, unfortunately, who would open up and may take advantage of certain situations. All of the people that we with have been vetted. We've experienced them ourselves, and they come with this with a beautiful
Loving light.
yeah, loving light, and just with an experience, that they come with that is unparalleled, really. And not only an ayahuasquero, but a huachumero is the other one who's serving huachuma. We sit with these incredible people who are, again, decades and thousands of years of this wisdom. For ourselves, we also serve medicine. We serve psilocybin, and we do serve huachuma, and we'll also serve MDMA outside of the regular plant medicine, although that's derived from sassafras, which is a plant. But we also have hape journeys. We work with kambo. We work with sananga. We work with many other plants, and not only that, but we deep fasting that we do as well. So there's plant medicine, and we also will walk people through the process of fasting, which to me is on par with everything else. Is on par with everything else that we've experienced in our lives. Just on par with any of the plant medicine experiences, deep meditations, and any of those things. So we just want to share that there's many different ways to get to these spaces. You do really want to be mindful of who you sit with. And for ourselves, we serve the medicine. The ayahuasca, we don't, but the other ones that we've been called to, we do. And our ceremonies are amazing. And when you go to our website, you'll see all of the different testimonials from people who have sat with us. And that means a lot. The people we've walked through these processes, our clients who have had ceremonies with us, who have been in our community, who have been a part of our healing, who have experienced the way that we teach, and have been a part of this loving breakthroughs that we've been able to provide.
What is your website? Did we ever talk about what your website is?
Yeah. So we can start with, or if people would like to, for now, we're going to be rebranding, but if people would like to go to thriveintegration.com, they can go to thriveintegration.com, and you'll see our website and see a lot of the things that we have. But we will be rebranding into E3, which is the Enlightened Entrepreneur's Experience. So this is going to be a new branding with a lot of the plant medicine experiences along with it, and just leveling up everything that we've learned since we started Thrive: soul retrieval, shamanic energetics, quantum realm exploration, all of these things that we dove much, much deeper into and have a greater sense of mastery over. So this is what we're bringing to the table with the new people we work with.
Yeah, a lot more one-on-one work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. A lot of one-on-one is going to be powerful. But we have one-on-one, we have group, we have things that people can just have the program and do it a DIY. What you say, there's DIY, do it yourself, done with you or done for you. There's different ways that we work with people, but again, they would have to say everything's a bespoke experience. So we say, what is it that you're looking for? What is it that you're looking to experience? And then we walk them through that process.
Okay, it sounds like a wonderful program, and lots of levels that people can tiptoe into or dive fully into. Thriveintegration.com, or you could reach them at their Facebook pages, which is Meika.Cooper or Kaleo Sallas, Sallas, and find them there. And and if you're watching on Facebook, the names are right there. So you could click on there. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, you can find them with the Google, Google's a verb now, the names, and I'm sure that you'll find them in any different way. And so if the branding is starting, and maybe the branding will be done by the time you're listening to this. So please do look them up. And you know that I bring people on that I trust and that can advance your relationship to your soul. And this is about having a soul power journey in your life. And so everyone that I bring onto these podcasts is available for you to reach out to and work with. So if this resonates with you, please take advantage and reach out to them and have conversations to see if there's something here for you to go forward on. It's a very powerful program that they offer, and a very dedicated couple.
Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for this time, Nancy. Appreciate it. You were a wonderful divine spirit, and you have dedicated your life to really transforming people, their experiences. So we honor when, and we just reflect back to you that love, like light, aloha, and that ripple effect of energy that you bring into the world. We honor that and respect it.
Absolutely.
We love it.
We
Thank you.
need more people like us in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's happening. It's happening.
It is happening.
The
We're
100th
waking
month,
up. We're
we're
waking
waking
up.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a great shift happening, and it's
Yes,
just
there is.
exciting time to be alive. We love it.
Yeah, it is. It is. And if you're listening to this on podcast on YouTube, just look below and hit the subscribe button. The more people I can get subscribing to this YouTube channel, the more the information is going to get out there. And I like having more friends. So in any event, podcasts are coming up. Meika has a podcast right now called Hey Boo Podcast. Right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's a lot of
Yes.
fun. And they could just search Hey Boo, right? And
yes, you can search Hey Boo for sure. Yep, just Hey Boo, Hey Boo Witches Coven actually on YouTube, and you'll find it.
great. And then you guys will be launching another podcast, Spiritual Maverick podcast. It's not quite launched yet, but keep an eye out for it. These guys have lots of information that they're willing to share freely, and there's a bridge to work with them as well. So thank you for coming on. And for everything.
Thank you, Nancy. We love
you
you,
for
sister. Have a
having us.
beautiful rest of your day, and appreciate it. And we'll see you soon. Thanks to everybody out there listening. You're worth it. It's time for that shift. Let's do it together and heal the world.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Bye-bye.
right. We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining the Angelscapes podcast. We hope you've gained new insights and inspiration for your journey to uncover and access your soul's power. For more information and a deeper dive into finding clarity in your life, go to angelscapes.com. Remember to subscribe so you can be part of the discussion. It may just change your life. See you next time.